Hey guys, hello and welcome to Naveed for Speed. In today's video, I am in Portugal and I'm here to test drive the new Nissan Qashqai. Now, I've already made a video on the new Qashqai, and if you want to see all the changes to the new Qashqai, all the updates that the car has got, make sure you click the link up here where you'll see a detailed video. But for today's video, I'm going to be taking this car out to drive and I'm going to be seeing exactly how those changes affect the driving experience. Now, for the Qashqai, ever since 2006, Nissan have focused on three things. They've focused on bold design, they've focused on connectivity, and they've focused on the powertrain. Now, let's talk about that first point, the design, which is quite apparent from the exterior of the vehicle. This car looks significantly different than the previous Qashqai, and most of that has to do with the front of the car. So if you look at the front, this sort of grille has been dramatically updated. It's striking, it's bold, and Nissan say it has been inspired by Japanese the samurai battle armor, and that's why it's got all these sort of intricate details, which were an engineering challenge when it came to designing and building the car. You still get that sort of signature V-motion grille that you get in Nissan Qashqai vehicles, but now you get this extra feature on the side, which Nissan call the hot foil stamp. You get this sort of chrome look on the comma design, which then leads up to the daylight running lights. Now, the daylight running lights as well come in this sort of boomerang shape with the main beam housed in the middle. You get sort of chrome trim along the front of the car, and leading towards the side of the car, you'll notice, because this is not the N design grade. The N design grade is a vehicle that I made a video about in my previous video. That's a new trim level that Nissan have bought out for the new Qashqai, and that's for customers if they want a bit more of a exuberant design. What you tend to get in this crossover style vehicle is what you see here. You get black wheel arches, you get black side skirts, you get black body trim, whereas in the N design grade it's mostly body colored. At the back of the car as well, you got new rear lights, which also have that boomerang shape and have the comma design at the bottom. But now Nissan have developed a new lighting for the rear, which now has a super red color, so it's brighter than any other red that you'll see before, and that's because customers basically complain that the rear lights didn't look that great. At the front as well, you don't have any fog lights, because Nissan say that the main beams, the main lights and the daylight running lights, that's enough. You don't need fog lights. This car, the lights have been designed in such a way that they're just not needed. Let's have a look at some of the interior features of the car, and I'll talk about the connectivity. The new Nissan Qashqai comes in two new color grades. This particular vehicle that I have comes in deep ocean. Right, so as we know, the Qashqai was based on three main principles. There was the bold design, the connectivity, and the powertrain. Now, we've already spoken about the bold design on the exterior of the car, but interior of the car, that's where that connectivity comes into play. It's all about the user experience, and the main changes on the interior and the main changes to that user experience come in the form of the infotainment system and what Nissan call Google built-in. Now, what that means is you get Google Maps, you get Google Assistant, and you get the Google Play Store. So let's start with the maps. The reason why Nissan have integrated Google Maps into their new Qashqai is because it's familiar. It's something that we're already used to. When you get into the car, you don't need to use your phone. You can save your battery, you can save your data. You get into the car and you use a system that's familiar. But Nissan have also given users a choice. If you don't want to use Google Maps, there's also Waze available. If you don't want to use the Google Assistant, you can use Alexa or Siri. Now, the Google Assistant, that comes into play when you want to make a change. For example, you want to change the temperature, you want to call somebody without taking your hands off the steering wheel. So there's also a safety element in play as well. And last but not least, you've got the Google Play Store, which basically means that as time goes by, more and more apps will be developed, particularly for automotive use, and therefore your car will get more and more better. You'll get more better driving experience. The interior of the car, well, I'm currently not in the N design model, which you might have seen in my previous video. The reason why is because I wanted to explore one of the other models. So currently I'm sitting in the Technop model. So in the N design, you'd get loads of Alcantara all over the interior, whereas in this particular model, you get leathers and you get plastics, but it all feels good quality. There's nice stitching around the steering wheel and around the seats. It's comfortable. On the steering wheel, you get loads of buttons. And now, speaking about buttons, in European regulations, the car has to start by default with all the safety features turned on. But Nissan have thought about that as well. You got simply by pressing two buttons. There's one button here on the steering wheel, and then you press this button to accept your custom settings. So as soon as you get into the car, simply press two buttons and you can turn all those settings off. But because of European regulations, you have to have those settings on by default. So that's quite convenient that Nissan have thought of that. There was the question of doing it with one button, but I think this two button solution is quite elegant, I think. Other than that, you get loads of nice materials throughout the center console. You get this gear selector and this really cool sort of pattern in the middle. But other than that, the interior is as you would guess with a Qashqai. It's refined, it's nice to touch, it's great to be in.
There's also the addition of red, green, blue interior lighting, which can be adjusted to match your mood. There's over 60 different colors and tones to choose from.
So the third point is the powertrain. So this particular car now, it doesn't have any changes to the powertrain. The powertrain, you still get it as a mild hybrid and you still get it as a full hybrid. But the full hybrid version, which is what I'm driving here, comes in the e-power mode. So what that basically means is the petrol engine does not drive the wheels. It's purely driven by the electric motors. The petrol engine just charges the batteries. So what that means is you get this really smooth driving experience. And from a comfort perspective, that's perfect. Driving around the city, it's easy, it's smooth most of the time, and the cabin feels comfortable as well. That translates very well to the driving experience. From the comfort perspective, you get, well, a high driving position. In Qashqais, you normally get a high driving position anyway. The car feels a little bit tall, you get a bit of body roll as you go into the corners, but generally you get great visibility, you get a commanding position on the road, and it's easy. And this is one of the reasons why the Qashqai has been so popular, apart from the price as well, which I'll get to. Since it first came out in 2006, the Qashqai has sold over 4 million times around the world. Now, that sort of popularity doesn't come if the product isn't good. And that's basically what's happened here with Nissan focusing consistently on those three main points: the bold design, that connectivity, and the powertrain. Aside from that, from a comfort perspective, Nissan tell me that there's a microphone just over here which senses the noise that's coming into the cabin, and then through the speakers it has active noise cancellation. So again, it creates that pleasant experience for the driver inside the cabin. From a driving perspective, you've got three drive modes. You've got your eco, you've got your normal, and you've got your sport mode. In your normal mode, the car is easy, it's comfortable, and it's leans a lot. But when you put the car into sport mode, it all stiffens up a little bit. You don't get a lot of body roll anymore, and you just feel that sort of instant acceleration, that response on the pedal straight away. And the brakes are no problem in this car as well. They're just pretty straightforward. When it comes to your electric driving modes, now you've got your full EV mode, so the car can drive entirely on electric power. I mean, the wheels are already driven on electric power, but you also get e-pedal mode, which is one pedal driving. Now, that's different to the B driving mode that you get from the gear selector, which basically mimics engine braking and can slow the car down. The e-pedal mode gives you even more regen, and it's a lot more significant when you're slowing the car down. You can drive it around the city just on one pedal. Other than that, the entire experience of driving with the Google Maps, driving with the driver assist modes, using the buttons on the steering wheel, it's easy. I mean, you don't even have to take your hands off the steering wheel to do most things. I mean, okay Google, change my temperature 2 degrees higher.
Got it. Turning up the temperature for the driver by 2 degrees.
There you go. Nice and easy. And that's what this new Nissan is all about. It's all about that connectivity. It's all about making it easier for the user experience.
The entry-level Qashqai will set you back just over £30,000, followed by the N connector at slightly over £32,000. The Tecna and N Design come in at just under £35,000 and the Tecna Plus at just under £39,000.
So overall, I mean, it's under 40 grand and there's loads of options to choose from. I think Nissan said there's over 60,000 variations that you can choose from. Somebody did ask me in the comments on my previous video whether the car will come with a sunroof, and we did ask Nissan and they said that the car would come with a sunroof from the N connector models above. I'm not sure if it's an optional extra, although this particular car doesn't come fitted with one as standard, so I'm not sure what's going on there, but I will find out more information for you.
Later that day, I did find a Tecna Plus with a glass roof.
Overall then, with all these changes, the bold design, the connectivity and that same powertrain that we got, the new Nissan is pretty much improved over the old Nissan. It's not a new generation, but it is a facelift, and I think some of the changes that they've made, Nissan have listened to the customers and they've put the customer first, and they've basically tried to enhance that user experience, and that's why I think this is probably the best Nissan Qashqai so far.